It's Lisa from Been There, Got Out. And today I have another Lisa as a guest. Her name is Lisa Watson. She's a transformational healer. And I don't know if we knew each other in another life, but as soon as we looked at each other, she said that I looked really familiar, even though she's in Mexico right now and from Colorado, and I'm in New York. And but whatever the case is, we are going to be talking about something called what it actually means, and also how fear-based beliefs impact our lives. And so we know that a lot of you watching and possibly listening to us are in the throes of a very difficult separation or divorce or custody battle, or we like to say co-parenting hell. And so we want to make sure that you can learn some ways to not be so scared, because that's the thing that freaks everyone out, is the sense that that there's nothing you can do about it, and that if you don't do exactly what your ex wants, then you're going to get in trouble. A judge is going to not believe you. But okay, now I'm noticing that Lisa like popped out. No, she's still here. All right, Lisa, let me try again to get you on here. I don't know why it's not working. This sometimes happens. But we'll try it, and if it doesn't work, we will try it again.
There we go.
All right, perfect. All right, so so Lisa, before we even start, what is a transformational coach?
I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, I gotta raise my tripod here. I can't see myself. I
That's
think
okay.
we're cut off a little bit here. A transformational coach, so just someone who helps you to transform from, one version of yourself over into another version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I work with mainly women who are just kind of stuck in these disempowering belief loops.
Mm-hmm.
And I, help them to break free from just self-abandonment patterns, toxic patterns, codependency, people pleasing, and all that kind of stuff through a method that I created that I call the Reparenting method.
All right, great. Well, tell us a little more about who you are and what you do besides this new method that you created.
Well, it is my life's work, pretty much what I do now as a coach. I'm also an author. I wrote a book called Reparent Yourself to Find Healing in All Your Relationships. It's currently with a publisher, so that should be out next year sometime. And my first children's book is being released on August 5th, which I'm really excited about. It's a passion project of mine that I'm doing to write conscious children's books. And the reason that I do that is I work it from both sides. So I work with adults' inner child mainly. The reparenting method is about using the inner child to reprogram your subconscious beliefs. So I work with adults in reprogramming their subconscious beliefs with, deep inner child work. And then it's like two sides of the same coin, because in order for us to create really a new world and to, heal us of these fear-based programmings that we're carrying around, we don't want to continue to pass them on to the next generation. So it's also about generational healing that I'm working with these very strong women that have chosen these very difficult lives to live. I myself was in a narcissistic relationship for over 28 years, had a very difficult childhood and all that. And just through my own work on myself to empower myself and live my best life, I'm passing these things on to other women to assist them in doing the same.
So you're part of what we call the Been There, Got Out Club as well.
Absolutely. I saw that, your title, and I was like, oh, that resonates.
Yeah. So talking about fear-based beliefs, what are some common fear-based beliefs that we have about ourselves, especially since, this started in childhood? I imagine that there's probably some common ones.
Yeah, there are really common core beliefs that we're taught. I mean, first of all, for women, we've been living under a patriarch system. And so we've really been groomed to believe we're not as worthy or as deserving as men. And that, we're just the caretakers and we should, just be seen and not heard and be people pleasers. So, one of the real core beliefs that I think that women carry around that are so disempowering to them is this belief that they have to be the caretakers, the emotional caretakers even of other people. And then it leads to complete self-abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the core of the belief that's running, that is causing a lot of these experiences that women are having in toxic relationship, is this belief that I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, and it's my job to make sure everybody else around me is okay and put myself last.
Yeah, I mean, so that's not just like a family issue, that's a social issue. So how can we change it if our whole society makes us feel like we are responsible for other people?
The formula is really simple and the work is really, really challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But it's as simple as you start changing yourself. Like, we just need to decide to start showing up for ourselves, that we no longer listen to those thoughts in our head. We've been programmed. I mean, what I teach is that I teach from a very high spiritual level as well, that we're spiritual beings having these experiences in this human body, that these bodies are basically avatars. They're basically these really advanced computer systems, creating a holographic projection of reality that we're playing in down here. And when you start to understand that, it gives you a little distance from identifying with this body of being who you are, this limited being of who you are. And when you start to understand that you're just running programs, that when you arrived here out of your mother's womb as a small infant, you were perfect love, perfect worthiness, innocence and perfection. Every baby around the entire globe is equally as perfect and innocent as any other. But then we go through our first 7 years of life, is when the child's brain is literally in a theta brainwave state, which is the brainwave state that they put you in when you go under hypnosis. So we're downloading the first 7 years of our life 24/7 without even a prefrontal cortex completely developed. Our brain's not completely developed. And so we're just taking on the beliefs of everyone around us, that modeled behaviors. If you grew up in a family where communication was very clear and respectful, and there was a great, money mindset, then you're going to grow up with those types of beliefs. You're going to be able to create that reality for yourself. You grow up in a dysfunctional family where there's violence, maybe even drug addiction and lack. You're going to grow up to create that reality. So how we do it is to just take back charge of our mind and our nervous system. Our nervous system is key. We have to learn to regulate our nervous system. I didn't even know my nervous system was dysregulated till I'm like 57 years old now, until I was like 50. And I was like, oh, that's what's going on with me. And I started to, put all the pieces together. So a large part of what I do is helping women to identify that their nervous system is dysregulated, first of all, and then taking the steps to learn to regulate it. But it's really through inner child healing, in self-talk, that the majority of this work is done.
So with the dysregulated nervous system, your first example of growing up in this super healthy family where everything is great, I don't know anybody. I feel like even things that I've read say no matter how wonderful your family was, every child has some kind of trauma. I don't know why, but
I agree.
so as you're older, how do you know when your nervous system is dysregulated? It makes me think about abusive relationships. 1 in 2 people in them don't know that anything is wrong because they've normalized it. It's become so familiar, especially if it's what they grew up with. So how do we even know if our nervous system is dysregulated if we've been living with that since we were children?
Well, it all starts with self-awareness. Well, a desire, I guess, is where the spark of desire is, where it comes from, where we have to have this spark of desire to say, I want better. I want different. Something's not right here. I don't like this anymore. I went through that stage for years and years and years. And I've been doing personal development and spiritual work, honestly, since I was 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I met my ex-husband when I was like 18, was with him for over 28 years. And that's a whole complicated story in itself. But you're right. You're blind to your own programs. Because
Mm-hmm.
remember, being a computer system that we are, we've only downloaded what we is around us. We only know what we know. We only
Right.
know what we're exposed to. It's not possible to pop out, right? But the beautiful thing is we're actually spiritual beings, and we're connected to the collective and source energy, and we're actually all one. And it is possible to tap in to higher levels of consciousness. That, coupled with the fact that right now we're going through an ascension period, there's a very like massive spiritual event happening over, you know, it's always happening. We're always evolving. But like since 2012, people are awakening to the realization that they are more than just this body. And
Mm-hmm.
so those little sparks, that little desire of there must be more, is starting to happen to people. And once that happens, and you're like, I want more, I want better, the first step is self-awareness. So how do we become aware that we're nervously, or that we're not regulated? We have to just start paying attention to ourselves. The first assignment I give my clients always in the first week is I have a bunch of like toolkits and things that we work through. But I want you to just pay attention to yourself. I want you to just listen to the thoughts that are in your head. Just be the silent observer of yourself. How does your body feel? When your spouse says that, like, where do you feel it in your body? What behaviors do you want to go do? What do you not do that you would have done had you not just felt that way? Like, where are you sabotaging yourself? Where do you feel locked up? And just start observing yourself.
Do you
And
have
that,
them write it down or just think about it?
I have both. I have
Mm-hmm.
lots of writing type exercises because it's very helpful,
Yeah.
and lots of little like I've put together these toolkits like self-awareness 1, self-awareness 2. I have this harmony within. So it's just like questions like about your own behavior. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
ask questions about your own behavior, questions about relationships in your life, the loops that are playing, like how do you feel in your present relationship? Do you feel confused? Do you feel like you have a lack of control? What is it that you're feeling? When did you feel like that when you were younger? Oh, my father, I felt that way in my family. I felt that way with my mother, or my sister, or my brother, or, whatever it might be. And then you start to put the pieces together of your programming. You start to understand, oh, this avatar was just programmed to believe those things or behave in that way. And once you're able to see that, then you start to see that you're not actually the avatar, like you are, but you're also the programmer of it. You're the one who gets to choose the thought that runs. You can say no to it. When the thought comes in your head, you can say, oh, I don't want to think like that anymore. I'm going to choose something different. And you start to realize that there's actually a space there between you and your behavior and you and your reactions. But we've got to get out of that subconscious programming to recognize it and make a new choice. And then we're literally just building new neural pathways in our brain.
Mm-hmm.
These neural pathways, it's like, say you're prone to depression, which was my thing. My mother's severely depressed. And so my body mind was so used to depression just from it running through her veins while I was, in the womb, just
Mm-hmm.
like my body being regulated to fear and depression and whatever she was feeling, and then watching her behaviors as I'm little. So when I get like triggered by something, I find myself all of a sudden feeling just depressed. And I started to recognize that. And I'm like, why do I feel depressed? And then I noticed my brain was looking for reasons to say, oh, it's because of this. It's because of him or her or your work or that or this or that. And then I started to realize this feeling actually came first. And now I'm trying to justify it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, no, I'm the master of my emotions and I'm not choosing depression anymore. And so that neural pathway for depression was like California highway. It's got like 8 lanes and it's, you know, everybody's on it all the time. It's super easy to go to. But when you say, no, I don't want to do that anymore, you grab the steering wheel and you turn over to this dirt road where you're optimistic and you're saying, no, I'm going to choose gratitude. And how do I want to feel today? And damn it, I'm not going to be depressed. I just refuse to buy into that. And you start carving out this new highway. And then the one that used to have 8 lanes, it starts growing weeds on it because you're not using it as much anymore. And over time, you're more prone to just start to go the positive route. And I've noticed in myself I've been doing this very seriously for about 8 years, like 24/7, working on my own brain. And it's hardly there anymore. Like, it's just not, it almost surprises me when I start to feel that way. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I got to turn this way. I know what to do now.
I love
So
the analogy. It's very vivid. So, what part does community play in doing this? Because I imagine it's very hard when you're in the midst of it to sort of see the way out when it's just one person.
yeah, I love that question because it's becoming more and more clear to me that we need to build communities as we move into this new world. And it's something, my husband's actually a landscape architect and master planner. I live down in Baja, Mexico, where there's lots of awakened woo-woo sort of like people thinking outside the box and stuff
Uh-huh.
too. Community is so vital between the patriarch system that we live in and then this indoctrination program of the matrix. um, there's a lot of forces that have been against us. And I guess I just want to interject here to any women listening that you are innocent, okay? And you're perfect. And that anything that you've got yourself into or whatever, it's simply a result of that programming. It is not you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just your belief system, and belief systems can be changed. You didn't even choose them. You know, like on a higher spiritual level, yes, we did. And we don't have to get into that. But you know, your parents, society, they're the ones that put those downloads, those programs. It's like you're this perfect MacBook Pro, and someone put a lot of like distorted programs into your system. And now once you recognize it, you're just like, oh, get rid of this one. I want to get rid of this one. I'm going to pull this one in instead. And you can do this. Like, you really can do this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
So,
answered your question.
yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I mean, we talked about community a little bit, but I'm thinking too, you're speaking mostly to women, but how can men support women? Because we all live under a patriarchy or this type of society, the way things have always been. What can men do? And it looks like you want to say something about community too.
Yeah, I was just the fact that I wanted to say, okay, I'm going to remember both these things.
I know the feeling.
Community is so incredibly important. Like I have tears like right now thinking and goosebumps about it. Like, what I wanted to say is, like, the family has been purposefully broken up. You know, the whole feminist movement making it, you know, sound like, oh, women, you get all these rights now. No, it broke up the family is what it did. And not to say women shouldn't work or any of that. I'm not saying any of that, but the family unit is so important to have the aunts, the uncles, the grandparents, the neighbors, the, you know, other people cooking food and helping to watch the children. Like, we were not meant to live out on an island alone. We were
Right.
not meant to do that. And it's like society has made us believe that we have to be able to do it ourselves. Like, women should be able to do everything, you know, men too. Like, I don't just single out women. Actually, I have quite at this very moment, I have more male clients than female clients. So
Really? I'm
yeah,
glad you said
inner child healing is for men too. And I work with a lot of parents because I understand the development so well, childhood development so well. I write children's books. I've been a nanny. Um, I did like nannying for years as workshopping to learn more about conscious parenting. But working with the inner child and working with children is basically the same thing. So I help a lot of parents as well, and a lot of males. So community is really important. And I just want everyone to know, whether you're male or female, that you weren't designed to do it alone. So, reaching out, and there are people like yourself and like me, even if it's on social media, that you're finding your tribe, and you can't find them in your own community, that we're here to support you. I'm here to support people, and men too. And men play a huge part in this. Like, they have inner children too. They have trauma too. They have disempowering programs too. And the reason I focus on women mainly, although I get just as many men, is just because I'm a woman, and it's I have had that experience of being in a toxic relationship, and so I can just really, really identify with that particular client. But no, I'm not limited to just women.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's great, because we have a lot of women, but we also have a lot of men too. And again, we're all living in the same society, and we have certain expectations of roles. But I love how you said that none of us was meant to do it alone. And I think in America in particular, uh, there's this sense of like, I shouldn't need to ask for help. It's weak to ask for help, or it's weak to ask for a favor sometimes when you really, really need it. And our clients are all dealing with the most intense thing that perhaps anyone could go through, and they're still afraid to ask for help. Like, one of our clients just the other day was telling us how she's going to be displaced from their home, but if she goes into a shelter, they're going to take the kid away. And a neighbor just offered to let them stay with the neighbor for a little while, and she's like, I shouldn't do this, I should be able to figure it out. I'm like, why can't you just take it? I mean, this is not who you are overall, but right now you're being offered a gift from someone who's you need the help. Like, take it. But still in her mind, it was like, I should be stronger. I should have figured everything out by myself.
Because it's a belief system that
Mhm.
was embedded into us to keep us disempowered. One of the main things that we have to understand is that we are spiritual beings. There is a spiritual war going on, and that there are controllers of this planet whose objective is to keep us from knowing our power. That's why there's poisons in our food. That's why cancer is an industry. That's why schools programs don't teach us actually anything that helps us in real life. It only teaches us how to be workers, because they've designed a system to keep the masses disempowered and from knowing their true divinity and their true power. And so these messages of you should do it yourself, what they're they're weaved in through everything. They're weaved in through the history books, through the stories, through the television programs that we get addicted to. And they're programming us to believe that, and that we should feel weak, or, not strong, or like, just get up and do it sort of thing. It's just wrong programming is all it is. And we just have to step back from ourselves, from our lives, from our beliefs, from what we're doing, and just say, like, clear the slate. Like, what do I really want for myself? And I guess what's running through is shame. Shame is where they've got us, because there's just been so much shame put on us from literally from the time we were born.
And that's
Like,
for everybody. Like, you're never going to
everybody.
get it right. You're never going to get it right. You're never going to be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you color on the wall because you're two and it's pretty and it's white, and mom gets mad and you get a timeout and you're shamed for being a bad person, but you were just being your authentic self. The problem is that we've been so disconnected from our authenticity, we don't feel safe. We just don't feel safe to be and express our authentic self, whether that's being angry or being sad or being disappointed even. Like, we suck all these emotions back in because when we were small, they weren't accepted. We were shamed for them. We were punished for having feelings. When our mom said, go give grandma a hug goodbye or hello, and we're like, I don't want to give grandma a hug. Oh, you have to go give grandma a hug. You'll hurt her feelings.
Mm.
Basically, what we're teaching, we're programming in that moment. We're always programming. But like that example would be an example of we're programming the child to say your feelings don't matter. Your
Exactly.
own intuition over your own body doesn't matter. Her feelings matter more than yours. So
Mhm.
this is the programming that's got us, men and women, trapped into toxic relationships. Like a couple of my clients are actually men in toxic relationships that are in the middle of divorces from very narcissistic women that are using their children as weapons against them. It goes
Yeah.
both ways. It's
Yeah.
absolutely not just women.
Yeah, you're definitely describing a number of our clients as well. And I think I'm also hearing that there needs to be that pause, that stepping back and being like, let me consider what's really happening or what I really want or what's healthy or unhealthy. And so it sounds like, Lisa, part of what you do is you help people learn some critical thinking skills about what's right for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us, how can people find you?
Well, you can find me here on Instagram or TikTok, Reparent Yourself. I think I'm like underscore Reparent Yourself
Yes,
here.
you are.
And on TikTok, it's like reparent dot yourself.
Hmm.
We try to make it consistent, right?
Yeah.
Whatever's available. I also have, but my website is reparent-yourself.com. That's where you can learn more about me. I'm actually in the middle of doing a little revamp on my website, so excuse any pages that don't look quite right now.
Oh,
I have another website for my children's books, which is awakentheone.org. Like I said, my first book, it's called Courage Finds His Calm. You can find it anywhere you find books right now for pre-order on August 5th. It's coming out, but it teaches mindfulness and breathing techniques to children. Parents and adults tell me that it's just as helpful to them as it is to children. It's a really cute little book, and I have plans for 39 more books. My idea is to kind of like
wow.
flood. I figured this out when I was nannying. I was just like, we need more empowering children's books. Like I really like this Disney crap is blowing my mind. Like I don't like the programs that.
Right.
So I was like, I'm just going to write children's books then. But it's been a little challenging between running a coaching business and writing children's books. So it's going a little slower than I hoped. But
Yeah. Well,
reparent-yourself.com is where you can find me. I'm actually just launching a program. It's like a 3-month one-on-one program with me. It's called Sacred Reboot. And it's just basically we're going to reboot your entire operating system, from your belief systems to your nervous system, like bring full awareness to help you become empowered and move out of this. And I really like to do one-on-one. I know there's lots of coaches we're moving to online programs and classes and groups and Zooms, like, all this stuff. I really like to get personal with my clients. Like, in
mhm.
fact, I just finished up a stint with someone. I helped her get off of drugs. She was an intravenous drug user. I spent 2 full weeks at her house. We did what's called like real time healing, where I lived with her for 2 weeks to help her
Wow.
in the moment reprogram her subconscious mind, because healing happens when you're in the kitchen, making dinner, or, you're putting your child to bed, or you're having a discussion with your husband, or driving in the car. This is when life actually starts to happen, and we need to know the tools. So I really love to work with clients one-on-one, and that's why I'm offering this Sacred Reboot 3-month program. So I only have room for so many clients, though. Jump
Yes,
and
I know.
apply for that.
Time. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for coming on. I'm sure, a number of people listening relate to what you're talking about and could use your help.
Awesome. I really appreciate you having me and giving me the platform to offer my services and just give women in general hope, and know that you're not alone. There's lots and lots and lots of us out there that have either been through it or are currently still in it, and we just have to come together. You're not alone.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Have a great day. Thank
You
you.
too. Bye.